a special committee, structure and public transit at different levels. One of the things we're asking the municipalities and the citizens at large is what they would like to see the investment categories in. We're trying to take a begin with the end approach in mind so that at the end of this program, we've accomplished what we intended to. So we're asking how much should we see, how much would the community like to see in greenbelts, how much in infrastructure, how much in transit, along with bike ped improvements. Another important aspect of this is the ability of the sales tax program to bring in matching funds from outside of the county. So we've been able to match with federal dollars and state dollars, $1.2 billion coming from outside of Charleston County, leveraging the sales tax money to really expand our ability to accomplish infrastructure projects. One of the facts is we estimate about half or 50 cents of every dollar actually comes from outside of Charleston County residents. So that would be tourists or matching funds from outside or commuters who come into the county and make these purchases. So only about a half of the revenue we collect is actually from Charleston County residents. Here's some statistics of what we've accomplished. I know we briefed council on that before, so I won't go into a lot of depth on that. Just to bring up one statistic maybe is the investments we've made in our pavements. And we know our pavements are not in great condition. But if we compare our percentage of better pavements to the rest of the state at large, we're 73% better condition of our better pavements. And that shows the investment that has been made since 2004 and the 2016 investment that has been made into the resurfacing program. Right now, it's about $10 million a year in combination with C funds. We estimate moving forward, we're probably going to need, just to remain steady, about $30 million to $32 million. So we see there is a need for additional funding if we want to preserve our pavements. And that's just an example of that, and not to dive into more depth on other needs. The Greenbelt program, so 49% of Charleston County's total acreage is protected green space. The Greenbelt program has been wildly successful. It's that amount of preserved acreage is second in the state of all the counties. Public transit has been able to upgrade the fleet, improve bus shelters, improve routes. Also very important, the Low Country Rapid Transit Project, which is being funded through the half-cent sales tax program. As you can see here, the service miles have drastically increased over the 20 years, and the passenger trips have more than doubled in that time. So that's what we've learned. What is changing? And I think we all know what is really changing in Charleston County. It's the tremendous growth that we've seen since 2004 to 2025. 33% increase, over 110,000 additional residents. And that's just in Charleston County. We're not talking Berkeley and Dorchester as well. Just vehicle registrations alone up over 40% since 2008. So more vehicles on the road. So we know it's surged, or it's increased from 2004 to now, but it's also expected to continue to increase. So over the next decade, we estimate 42,000 more people, which means more vehicles in Charleston County. So our roadmap ahead. In September, County Council tasked staff to go out and listen to the community, meet with stakeholders, gather input, and we're in that process right now. We're going out, we've scheduled with most every municipality, and I'll give you a list of that in a second. We're scheduling with stakeholders. We're going to hold our own meetings as well, really trying to encourage as much public feedback. We're looking at piggybacking on other meetings that we may have. So we have our quarterly 17 at Main Road briefing next week. We're going to give the project briefing, and then at the end, we're going to talk about this as well. So we're going to use every opportunity we can to get the word out. Council staff, our tasked staff to come back in 90 days, so that's our plan. We'll gather this information. We're seeking input by December 1st, compile that, hopefully come back to council in the January timeframe. In the spring, we'll continue to work with council to develop and fine-tune the program or the plan. So we estimate $4.25 billion, or 25 years, whichever would come first. Asking the public in these different categories, there is no preconceived notion of what the percentage of these investment categories might be. So clean slate, we want to hear from the community on what they would like to see in these four what we're calling investment categories. So some of the media coverage we've received so far, I feel like we have been getting significant coverage in the media. You can see Live 5 here, Post and Courier, some articles, WCBD as well. So good news coverage, good media coverage over this outreach program that we're doing. The website that's been established, over 2,100 users, independent users, have come and visited the website already. We just got it up a little over a week ago, so 2,000 individual users already. The survey that we have posted, so the questionnaire that's on the website, we already have 863 participants. When we did this back in 2024, our total for the entire time was just over 1,000, and we're already at 863 now in just over a week's time. So I feel like we're getting good feedback already. We're getting good numbers, good participation, which is great. This just gives you a little taste of what that questionnaire looks like. I will highlight on let's see, this would be your lower left. It's a $100 budget, and this tool allows the user to, instead of doing percentages, we're going to do it in dollars, but they can adjust on that sliding scale how much they might want to see in greenbelts, how much they might want to see in roadways, and so forth, and it balances out to the 100. So this is a way to kind of accomplish getting the input on how they'd like to see that breakdown in those investment categories. Municipal outreach, so we've conducted 3 meetings already, have been completed. You can see those at Folly Beach, Town of James Island, Town of Ravenel. Next week we'll continue on with Megget, Seabrook, City of Charleston, and so forth. The schedule continues. So still reaching out to municipalities, kind of effort to go to them, go to where they are. We are reaching out to other stakeholder groups and scheduling those meetings, including HOAs and so forth. Anyone who would like information, we're trying to connect with them and really meet them where they are, listen to their input of what they would like to see. So the call to action, to get involved, we've got the questionnaire, we've got the meetings and workshops coming up, email address is there, as well as our website to stay informed. Finally, this is our QR code that we are distributing, where you can scan that code. It'll take you straight to the survey. We're asking for public input from the municipalities and citizens by December 1st, and then we'll summarize that and plan to bring that back to council in January of 2026. With that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, Mr. Boykin.
As will y'all update this information to show the Johns Island date and time as well for next
week?
Yes,
we can do that on our website. We'll have a running list.
Sir.
As soon as those are confirmed, we'll post those.
Thank you much.
Ms. Honeycutt? Okay. Mr. Sass?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Adams, I did have a quick question. I was looking at that list of the meetings, and hopefully maybe there'll be one for the town of Mount Pleasant.
Yes,
I don't think I saw one in there.
We're looking towards the end of November to schedule
Good.
a meeting with them, but we do have that on our radar.
Great.
Planning to do that.
Thank you.
Mr. Kabrowski?
Just listening and looking at the statistics with great interest, and I noticed from the 2016, 2014, the flooding and everything else wasn't even on the radar then. So, is there any sense of I brought up last time about how we can, with the flood mitigation with the roads, but also I looked at the green space money. I mean, it went from 10 to 17, or it was 10% in 16, and is there any thought that we could increase the green space portion a lot and use that to deal with flooding? I mean, I think that in terms of the flooding affects the use of the roads, and I understand the legal issues with if any flood mitigation has to be with a road project, but I was wondering if we could be creative in areas along roads and increase the green space proportion a lot, so we can legally deal with flooding in creative ways that maybe we haven't before. So to increase that, because I think people accept the fact that if we're going to address the needs in the next 25 years and we don't address, the increased flooding and water on our roadways, it's going to, not do what we have to. So I just throw that out there as something to look into when we put this together, and you ask people if we can help address the problem by being creative, increasing green space to deal with flooding alongside roads, because I think that would, is something that maybe we can accomplish that way.
Yes, sir. So we hear that, the flooding, we
Right.
know that is an issue. At this point in the public input process, we're taking the approach that no idea is a bad idea. So we're trying to receive as many ideas as possible. We will have to operate within state law and so forth of what is eligible. And so we have to work within those parameters. But at this point, we are accepting all ideas in any way we can accommodate those types of concerns.
And I would ask our council,
Mr. Kabrowski?
I would just ask our council, is there,
Kabrowski,
yes, sir.
are you done asking your one question to Mr.?
One question.
Thank you so much.
Well, I was going to follow it up. Is there any legal impediment to using green space money to address flooding too?
I'm not real familiar with the Greenbelt program, so I probably have to defer to Eric Davis on the requirements of that program and how that funding.
Mr. Moody?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Grosky raised a good point. I think the question ought to be answered sooner rather than later, and as I understood it from the Department of Revenue, that those funds could not be used for flood mitigation unless it was related to a road project. So, for instance, in our district, Mr. Middleton, Glen McConnell was recently expanded, and the Hassett sales tax money was used for that project, but could also be used to address any drainage issues that came along with that road. So you would not be able to just go work on drainage with this money. I think that's clearly been established by the Department of Revenue, and I don't want to get in a position where we're how many ever millions of dollars on drainage, and DOR comes back and goes, oh, by the way, you need to pay that back.
Yeah, I believe
That would be a real problem. So it keeps coming up, and I think that we probably ought to get an answer to the question sooner rather than later.
I believe
Thank you, sir.
I believe they're working on that. Thank you so much, Mr. Adams. We appreciate the presentation. Mr. Wehrman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I was just going to, and I don't have anything for Mr. Adams. Thank you for the presentation. I was just going to comment. I might be misremembering. I do think we have used greenbelt money on projects that at least have some flood mitigation component. I would actually echo the idea that we need to get some clarity on that as soon as possible. I would also just suggest, as someone who represents downtown Charleston, that while I'm happy to use greenbelt money for flooding, I think that's we need to be as flexible as we can. That's not there's also topographical limitations on how far and where you can actually provide that type of relief through a greenbelt type project. So as far as some of the flooding that I know a lot of my constituency, I don't think it's frankly going to be particularly helpful because you kind of need pipes. But I'm happy to work with everyone to get some answers to those questions.
Ms. Honeycutt?
Just to wrap this up, Mr. Adams, I appreciate what you all are doing in all of these municipalities. I've heard really great things from the municipalities in my district that you've been to, and so we greatly appreciate it. And I didn't know if I saw it on there, but I think you're also presenting next week at the Intergovernmental Council as well. So thank you.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kabrowski, one of the allowed local sales tax is for capital expenses, and that would be those types of projects. But what we would need to do it properly, we would have to have that as its own sales tax and then identify those projects across the county with consultation with the municipalities and come up with a list and a dollar amount that we're trying to reach. And that would be the way to address that specifically.
And all of those things that you all are mentioning tonight are being researched, and I think more information should be coming. Let's go back to agenda item 1, approval of the minutes of the September 25th meeting.
Moved.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. We're going to move on to our Planning and Public Works Committee agenda. Mr. Pryor is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All members of the council gets to participate. First item of business is approval of the minutes.
To approve.
Second. Any deletion, additions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, ayes have it. Item number 2.
Chairman, I would move, we got very detailed presentations last week. I would move for approval for items A and B.
Is there a
Second.
second? Second by the chairman, moved by Mr. Moody. Any questions or discussion? Mr. Werman?
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask Mr. Moody if we could make that amendable up to third reading. I got to tell
be
you,
fine. Yes, sir. So
I'm
I'm
not totally
happy to.
sold on the upzoning outside of the urban growth boundary on this 10 mile.
Me too.
I'm willing to move this forward, certainly, but I might want to revisit that at some point.
Ms. Honeycutt?
Thank you, Mr. Pryor. I do want to mention, Mr. Moody, I think you said this at the last meeting. Were there any objections? I received correspondence. I believe he sent it as well to all council members, and I spoke to Joel about the Tisdale parcel, and he has requested that he not be in the overlay. So I would ask that the council consider that. I believe the answer that I received was this is like any rezoning, or the overlay operates just like the rezoning where he can opt out. So I would ask that we consider that, and to the extent that he is not captured as an opt-out in this version, I cannot support it at this time.
So where does that leave us? I guess, Oceaner, I would agree to amend up to third reading, and maybe we just need to have some more conversation about that. I'm open to that conversation too, but I'll agree with Mr. Warman to amend up to third reading.
That's what I was going to suggest. Is I think I'm certainly willing to vote for it tonight, but I do think it sounds like there might be multiple conversations we need to revisit, and we'll have some opportunities to do that.
I agree, and perhaps if you, Mr. Pryor, this gentleman may come to public comments next week and maybe voice his opinion on what he's trying to accomplish. Maybe after we hear him, that may spur some changes too. But my motion stands for both items. Change up to third reading.
All right. There's already been moved and seconded. Mr. Krabrowski.
Councilman Weirman expressed some of my concerns about upzoning. I understand that this is in my district, and we stand in regard to 10 Mile as a town council would be to the residents of Mount Pleasant or the city of Charleston, but and this is letting people decide their own fate, which I'm in favor of, but I do have concerns about the upzoning, especially as we're reconsidering the sales tax referendum and what that would mean to traffic. But as long as we have the right to amend it up for 3 readings, I'd move it along, but I do have concerns about the upzoning. Thank you.
All right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to move on.
Nay on A. Nay, okay.
We're going to move to our Finance Committee agenda. We're all members.
Number 1.
All right, item 1, properly moved, and Mr. Moody seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Item 2,
Move for approval A through C.
Second.
probably moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Item 3, 3A, amend the Charleston County.
On A and B.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. All those in favor, Mr. Kabrowski.
Brief discussion, because it's a public meeting, not a hearing, but just to hear what that means in layman terms. We discussed it earlier, just to publicly explain that.
Yeah, so this is an amendment to the MCIP for projects that you guys have approved in the past, as well as other existing companies that we are dealing with from our existing industry concierge team.
There's no new incentives that we're voting on with this.
That is correct,
That's what
sir.
I'm trying to establish.
Yes, sir.
This is the Monty County Parks Agreement, right? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wehrman?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And Mr. Johnson, I know we spoke before this meeting, but I just wanted to mention that, when these deals come through, we're kind of thinking of the main company name. Obviously, these are held by LLCs that are designed for that property holding. I just wanted to request that, before Tuesday, we update with that with either the project name that we previously knew it under or some reference to the companies that we're actually dealing with in sort of more layman's terms.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. The ayes have it. Just before we leave, we do have Mr. Mike Ramsey, a good friend of mine, who's here with us tonight. He is on the school board of Berkeley County, but has a new role. He's the new Josh Dick. So, Mr. Ramsey, if you would just kind of wave your hand so that council members will be able to see you, and I'm certain that he'll be reaching out to many of us relative to housing.
I was going to also note, Mr. Middleton, that Councilmember Ross Appel is in attendance with us tonight.
I was just about to mention
Sorry to steal
him.
your thunder.
Yeah, I was just about to mention him next, right? As soon as I got finished talking about Mr. Ramsey. And Councilman Appel is here with us tonight as well. And so we thank both of them for their attendance.